Welcome back to Outside Views. Today we're discussing an often overlooked but incredibly significant chapter of Brexit that is nearing its conclusion: Gibraltar's long-awaited agreement with Spain. After years of uncertainty, negotiations between Gibraltar, the UK, Spain and the EU appear to be in their final phase. The Chief Minister of Gibraltar, Fabian Picardo, has signalled that an agreement is within reach. But what does this mean for Gibraltar, the UK and Brexit itself? And could this deal become yet another example of how Britain slowly re-entering EU structures through the back door? But let's break it all down. Since the 2016 Brexit referendum, Gibraltar has been caught in a diplomatic limbo. Unlike the rest of the UK, where 52% of voters supported leaving the EU, an overwhelming 96% of Gibraltar's residents voted to remain. This wasn't just a symbolic preference, it was a matter of economic and social survival. Gibraltar's entire economic model depends on seamless access to Spain and the broader European market. More than 15,000 people cross the border between Gibraltar and Spain daily, many of them essential workers in Gibraltar's economy. For years, negotiations between London and Brussels have focused on Northern Ireland, which finally reached a resolution with the Windsor Framework in 2023. That left Gibraltar as the last remaining piece of the Brexit puzzle, an unresolved anomaly in Britain's post-Brexit reality. But now, according to Spanish Foreign Minister José Manuel Álvarez, negotiations are on the verge of completion. Only two major obstacles remain: agreements on the movement of people and the movement of goods. If these can be resolved, Gibraltar will essentially operate under an EU-linked system despite being a British overseas territory. And this raises a fundamental question. Is Gibraltar about to experience a form of Brexit reversal? Under the preliminary agreement reached in 2021, Gibraltar was set to join the Schengen area in principle, meaning the border with Spain would remain open for people and goods. However, the details of implementation have taken years to finalize. The main challenges include who will oversee border security, how smuggling will be prevented, and how Gibraltar's controversial tax and business regulations will be managed. The city of La Linea, just across the border in Spain, is one of the poorest municipalities in the country, and Spanish officials are keen to ensure that Gibraltar's economic privileges do not lead to further disparities. And one of the core issues is Gibraltar's reputation as a tax haven. Despite Fabian Picardo's insistence that Gibraltar is a legitimate financial hub, it remains a favored location for online gambling companies, cryptocurrency firms, and businesses seeking ultra-low taxation. Gibraltar imposes no capital gains tax, no inheritance tax, and extremely low corporate tax rates, making it an attractive location for companies seeking to avoid high taxation elsewhere in Europe. Spain, and to some extent the EU, are eager to regulate this financial model, particularly in the areas of money laundering and illicit financial activities. Another contentious issue is smuggling. Gibraltar has long been a hotspot for illicit tobacco trade, with cigarettes smuggled into Spain at a fraction of normal prices. And beyond tobacco, concerns remain over drug smuggling and organized crime, particularly with the proximity to Morocco, one of the world's major sources of hashish. And these issues have made Spain reluctant to finalize an agreement without clear safeguards. Despite these complications, Fabian Picardo remains confident that Gibraltar will soon have a stable and beneficial relationship with both the UK and the EU. He has highlighted the fact that both the Spanish and British governments are currently led by centre-left parties, which has helped foster cooperation and mutual understanding. And there's also the reality that economically and socially, Gibraltar is far more integrated with Spain than with the UK. And Gibraltar's chief minister has more in common with Spanish politicians than with British ones. And while Gibraltar's sovereignty remains firmly British, its economic interests align closely with Europe. So, where does this leave Brexit? If the final Gibraltar agreement follows the path outlined in the 2021 preliminary deal, it would mark another significant example of the UK, or at least one of its territories, functionally reintegrating into the EU structures. Just as Northern Ireland maintains access to the EU single market for goods, Gibraltar could soon be part of the Schengen area. And these are not just isolated arrangements. They reveal a pattern of Brexit slowly unraveling piece by piece as the economic and political realities set in. The UK government may avoid calling this a reversal of Brexit, but the practical effect is clear. The benefits of EU membership are difficult to replace, and where possible, Britain is seeking ways to restore them without formally joining again. For Gibraltar's 33,000 residents, the stakes are high. Many of them work in finance, gaming, tourism, and other services that rely heavily on cross-border accessibility. The uncertainty of the last several years has made investment more difficult, discouraged businesses' expansion, and created logistical nightmares for those trying to run companies in the territory. Brexit has already forced a wave of changes in Gibraltar's economic landscape. Many financial firms moved their registration to Malta or other EU jurisdictions to maintain access to European markets. Even so, Gibraltar remains an attractive location for many industries due to its business-friendly regulations and English-speaking workforce. But if a final deal is not reached soon, further uncertainty could push businesses to look elsewhere for stability. And Spain's interests in this agreement are equally pressing. While Madrid has long sought to reclaim sovereignty over Gibraltar, its immediate concerns are more pragmatic. Ensuring economic stability in the region, curbing smuggling activities, and addressing tax loopholes are the key priorities here. A functional agreement would bring clarity to the thousands of Spanish citizens who work in Gibraltar and ease border tensions that have flared repeatedly in recent years. For the EU, a deal on Gibraltar would mark yet another example of Brexit's enduring complexities. As Britain slowly realigns certain sectors with European standards and regulations, the broader implications for the UK-EU relations remain uncertain. Will this gradual reintegration process continue in other areas as well? Could this be a sign that the UK will inevitably seek closer ties with Europe in the future in real terms? Or will this be framed as a one-off compromise to address Gibraltar's unique circumstances? Whatever the outcome, one thing is clear. The Brexit story is far from over, and as long as economic realities outweigh political slogans, Britain's relationship with Europe will remain a work in progress. And I will continue to watch these developments closely. So, thank you for watching Outside Views, and if you found this analysis insightful, please like, subscribe, and leave your thoughts in the comments below the video. And as always, stay informed, stay curious, and keep looking beyond the headlines. And the next video is right here in the end screen.